With the 2025-26 season right around the corner, I've been thinking about the ideal Dallas Stars lineup on opening night, from top line combos to sleeper picks to chemistry on the blue line. So let's get into it. My dream Dallas Stars lineup on opening night.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Happy Wednesday, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. And hockey season is right around the corner as well. That is why today we're going to go through my dream 2025-26 opening night lineup for the Dallas Stars with the help of Puckpedia. By the way, you can go to puckpedia.com, go to PuckGM, and then you can go through the depth chart, do your forward trios, your defensive pairings, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to share those with you today with the help of a little presentation. For those of you watching on YouTube, of course, I will explain for all you audio-only listeners as well. But we're going to have some fun today, and we're going to start off with the forward trios. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And maybe some of you disagree with me, so please let me know in the comments below. Give me your depth chart. Give me your trios, your pairings, and I want to read them and compare as well. So we'll start off, of course, with that top line. I'm going to show you all four lines and my 13th forward as well. I had a discrepancy towards the bottom of the lineup, but up front, I'm going with Roope Hintz to center, Wyatt Johnston, and Mikko Rantanan. I guess I didn't realize Mikko Rantanan was a left shot. So you can play him on the left side. You can move Wyatt from center up to the right wing, and he can play alongside Roope Hintz. And Wyatt had a bit of a disappointing playoff run, but a really solid regular season in 2024. 25 again was very productive, although he went through long stretches of struggling to find the back of the net. And I would love to have Robo on this top line, but we saw that for about a month and a half last year, and it just never seemed to gel. Maybe with a full training camp and a full off season, they'll be able to hit the ground running. But I'm going to move Wyatt up because I want to stack the top six is sort of where I'm coming from on this perspective. So Johnson moves to the right wing, although I think he's always better at center. And to be honest, this could be an option for Gulutzan to move Roope to wing as well, and then have Wyatt play down the middle, and then you could move Roope to the left side, put Mikko on the right. I think you could almost flop Roope and Wyatt if you wanted to have Wyatt play center. Roope, it's still another year under his belt. His speed, his step, he's going to continue to lose some as he continues to gain experience and just play more games on his body. We all know he plays with that lightning speed, and he can be a real presence. Maybe giving Johnson some more minutes down the middle allows Roope to conserve some energy as well. And you still get Wyatt in that two-way play that you get with Roope, but I think that could be a really intriguing line. And then you have Duchesne down the middle with Jason Robertson and Tyler Seguin. Another reason I was using this thought process is, well, this can move Jamie Benn down the lineup, can move him down to the bottom six, because we've talked about where the Stars are lacking some firepower, and that's on the left side. I don't think that's much of a surprise to any of you listening right now. Just the left wing, there's a lot to be desired there. So Robo, you can drop him down. He plays with Matt Duchesne and Tyler Seguin. So Seguin still on your right side. I think Seguin still has a chance to have a really good year. We saw the start he had. Again, is he going to be fully healthy all the time? No. Unfortunately, that's just the territory he's in now at 33 years of age. And Duchesne, like, it was great. He had 82 points last season. Is he going to be able to do that again? I don't know, but he's looked really good. He still seems to skate well for his age. He still has some juice, more so than some others, which is a bit troubling at times, it felt like last season. But Robo gives that line a scoring option. Seguin is really that F1. Duchesne is kind of a workhorse, plays a responsible center ice. He's not a great defender. We know that, but he's responsible, works hard. Seguin can be that facilitator / goal scorer / forechecker. And then Robo can be that guy that can just score, right? And we got to give him some props too on his ability to go after the puck, win battles. And I think that could just be a really intriguing line with Duchesne, sort of that facilitator. Robo and Seguin are on the flanks and they're firing pucks. And then we get to the bottom six. Now, this is where I think a lot of us will differ, or maybe we differ up and down the lineup here on today's episode. But I have Steele jumping up to that third line center. I just love Steele's game. He plays a strong center ice. I think he's a much better center than maybe a wing, just because of his work rate. We know what he can do on the penalty kill as well, and it may give him an opportunity to score a bit more, because I have him slotted with Jamie Benn and Maverick Bourque. Bourque maybe starts the season on the wing, doesn't have the responsibility down the middle. In fairness and all likelihood, or I guess best case scenario, towards the end of the year, let's just say December, we hope to see a lot out of Bourque. And maybe Bourque is a viable option for center, but maybe starts on the wing. He plays with Ben, he plays with Steele, and that can be a pseudo checking line, but hopefully can give you some pop offensively. I think that could be rather intriguing. Steele, Bourque, they're skaters. Ben can just sort of play his style of game, and what maybe his role is going to be this year, sort of a checking line forward. And I think that could be a line the Stars could trot out there. Now, the fourth line, I think it's safe to say Radek Faksa is going to be there. Maybe I should have said my prediction for the opening night roster. I don't know if Radek Faksa would be on my dream opening night roster, but I think it's safe to say he's going to be down the middle on that fourth line. I've called Blackwell in left wing, and this sort of goes back to the conversation we had on maybe Monday's episode, or maybe it was last week. What is Oscar Beck's role on the Stars team now? I don't know if we get I don't see him playing regularly at wing. I don't see that as an option for him. And Blackwell is 32, but we get a consistent game out of him. Was really strong on the PK last year, was just excellent. Really every time he was in the lineup. He's just an energizer bunny, and the Stars needed him at certain points and certain stretches during last season. So I have Blackwell on that fourth line playing left wing, and then I have Nathan Bastian up on the right wing. And this is just, again, gives them some size, right? And this is your checking line. Bastian, Faksa, Blackwell. You hope they just spend more time in the offensive zone away from their own net more than anything. And Bastian, sort of that bruiser that you play alongside Blackwell and Faksa. And this is your just pseudo fourth line checking role. I have Beck as your 13th forward. I really thought hard about throwing Rutskovian up there, just because I think at this current state of what Dallas is, I feel like Rutskovian would be a better fit in a lot of ways, potentially, just because he's a wing. I don't know if that's Beck's future in the NHL, at least from what we heard about the coaching staff or heard reports about him going into this last season, right? He's a Radek Faksa. So it makes me think like he's playing down the middle. I don't know if he's going to be valuable on the wing, and maybe I'm completely off basis on that, and we have to see it. But I think Beck is going to be your kind of 13th forward, and maybe he can play when, like, they're going to have to give Blackwell rest, even Faksa maybe. I know he's only 31, but Beck will kind of rotate in and out of the lineup, I think, more regularly than Rutskovian would. So that's why I have Beck as that sort of safety valve, as a 13th forward for Dallas. So down the middle, you have Hintz, Duchesne, Steele, Faksa. That's 1 through 4. On the left wing, Rantanen, Robo, Ben, Blackwell, And on the right wing, Johnston, Sagan, Bork, Bastian. That would be the trios I would throw out there and head into opening night for the 2025-26 season. Let me know where you differ from me on that. Would love to hear it. I just think there's so many different combinations now. And Johnston, I feel like is going to be the key X factor in all of it. Like, where is he going to play? It'd be awesome to have him on the third line. Maybe they want Johnston with Bork and Ben. You put Robo back up there, but then that kind of moves Ben back up. Or maybe you advance Steele in a lineup, play him alongside Duchesne and Sagan, right? We can get into a rabbit hole of different combinations. But let's move over to the defensive pairings. These are maybe a bit more cut and dry, along with our goaltenders, which we know are already cut and dry. But we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is the official FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off, this is your moment. You can take a flyer on the MVP race. There's always some interesting candidates out there. Maybe Jaden Daniels in year 2, or is it going to be a sophomore slump? Parlay your division winner with a dark horse. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets now. Football season is right around the corner. Cannot wait to consume all the Dallas Cowboys games and be disappointed like the rest of my 25 years of life. Visit the FanDuel app today, because Futures Day is one day and one day only, August 26th. FanDuel, play your game. So we move on to the defensive pairings for the Dallas Stars. My ideal pairings for the 2025-26 opening night roster. And I don't have a bombshell for you. I apologize. This is something I've talked about quite a bit over the summer. Nothing new here, nothing funky. I just think this is something the Stars can certainly do heading in to the next couple of months. You got Lindell with Miro. So Miro still plays on his right side. I think that's a pairing that could be interesting. We saw it a bit last season. Then Miro got injured. If he did not, maybe we get a bit more time with those two together. Then Harley Labushkin, which was a pairing that played the most last season defensively for the Stars. And then it's the Bischel, it's the Lundqvist, number 5 and number 6. Sort of, you got the big brawny Bischel and then a little bit more mobile Lundqvist, which I think could actually be a bit of a fire and ice combination and be a strong pairing for Dallas. And there's a few reasons for this as well. Lindell and Heiskanen had an expected goals percentage at 5-on-5, 54.1%. That was actually third most among pairings that played at least 150 minutes. And they kept the puck out of the back of their net as well, which is no surprise. That's sort of your shutdown pairing. And hopefully Miro can add some offense as well. But Miro and Lindell essentially is just that shutdown pairing. And it gives Lindell a partner like Miro, who he hasn't had in the past enough. And that's a mobile defenseman that can move the puck. He's always been with a Cody Ceci, like we saw in the spring, a Hakanpää, just playing really with a similar style and archetype to him. And I don't think that brings out the best of Esa Lindell. Miro would bring that out of him. Harley Labushkin, they're familiar with each other. They played in high leverage moments last season, and they were rather strong together at certain points. They played a lot of minutes. Does it leave something to be desired? Yes, but I think you're just going to have to make sacrifices with the Stars blue line. That's just the nature of where they're at right now with the personnel. Bischel Lundqvist is sort of your young, just try it out pairing for the first month. Maybe this is a sleeper pairing that turns out to just hit the ground running and be fantastic for you, but you have some safety nets. You have Petrovic that you can bring in to play either with Lundqvist or even Bischel if one needs to stay in the press box a couple nights in a row. Remember, Bischel's still really young. He's only 21. I know he looked great. He may need some nights where he needs a night off, or maybe he's not playing so well. There's a stretch where he struggles, maybe finds himself in the box a little too much. Gulutzan wants to send the point. Who knows? Petrovic can check in. And I have Petrovic as that seventh defenseman who is waiting in the wing. Now, just to play hypothetical and get a bit more intriguing with it, I could potentially see Harley Lindell, Miro Lyubushkin if they wanted to get Miro on his strong side. Miro Lyubushkin could be a potential option. I don't know if they played very much or at all last season. I'm curious. And those numbers I gave you are from Money Puck. I just want to give a quick look to see if we got, I'm sure they played together at some point, but there was not a lot of minutes of Lyubushkin, Heiskanen. I'm going to see if I can find it. You think they'd had to play at some point. Heiskanen and Lyubushkin, they played 280 minutes. Maybe I was mistaken for some reason. I didn't think they played that much. That was quite a bit, and all top 10 in terms of minutes played. Heiskanen and Lyubushkin, that's an interesting call as well. It gets, of course, Miro on his strong side. And then Lindell Harley, it would kind of solve that. It would solve that issue too, where you get Lindell with a guy like Harley, and then Lindell. The only thing was Lindell's not going to play on a strong side, but we've seen him play that before and be fine. And if it's anybody that could probably play on a strong side, be fine. It's Lindell, just because he's stay-at-home defenseman, uses angles. He'll be fine if you had to do that. You keep Bischel and Lundqvist together. So that's another option. If you're really chomping at the bit to get Miro on his left side, which I would love to do, I just don't think this is the ideal lineup to do that right now. And that's why I'd have him with Lindell. I'm going to keep Lyubushkin and Harley there just because there's some chemistry, there's some familiarity, and I think could hit the ground running, because Dallas, let's face it, off the hop schedule it's not going to be easy. I feel like off the jump, you need some stability right off the bat with a new coach, a new system, the lines up front for the most part. Who knows? Although you hope they should be able to score no matter what combinations they put together. My goodness, they have too much talent, especially in the top six. They should be fine there. Have some stability on the back end. Allow them to kind of walk their way in, kind of cautiously into the end of the season, and maybe make some decisions, a couple weeks in if something's not working. But I think that's how I would roll with it right off the bat. And of course, you got Ottinger and DeSmith as your 1-2 punch in between the pipes. So there you go. There's my pairings: Lindell, Heiskanen, Harley, Lyubushkin, Bischel, Lundqvist, Petrovic, your seventh defenseman. And Ottinger, of course, will be your number one. DeSmith, your number two. And DeSmith, I don't know if we gave him enough credit. I tried to throughout the season and in the offseason, but he was excellent for Dallas this past year. Just really, really steady. Exactly what you're hoping for out of a backup netminder, and outplayed Ottinger some nights. Quite a few nights at points, and they needed him. So if he can be that safety net and be that person again for Dallas, Stars will be in great hands, of course, in between the pipes. So there you go. There's my ideal lineup for the 2025-26 season. Let me know if I'm off my rocker. Maybe we differ completely. Maybe we're on a similar page. I would love to see your answers in the comments below. Let me know. Hit the subscribe button as well. I want to thank you, as always, for watching and supporting this content. I really appreciate it here on Locked On Stars. We're going to talk about the promotional schedule. We got some time to discuss something else. The promotional schedule is now out. Want to give you some highlights there and some important nights to keep in your diary, keep in that schedule here upcoming this season, and we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire somebody yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on the other sites. Indeed sponsor jobs. Put your post at the top of the page and help you reach right candidates faster. I found my last couple of jobs on Indeed. I love Indeed. It makes it so much easier. And for those business owners out there, you don't have time to just spend time and time looking through hundreds of resumes and spending trying to find right candidates. That's where Indeed comes in. It gives you a great feature where you get your job post seen and you get the right candidates that match your job requirements with the resume. Now you can speed up that process. That's what it's all about, speeding up with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. The Dallas Stars released their promotional nights for next season. They have a lot of promotional nights. The schedule is quite extensive. We're not going to go through all of them, but I do want to hit on some of the key nights, just so some of you are aware and prepared for this upcoming season. The home opener, by the way, always a fun one, October 14th. We're almost 2 months exactly away from the home opener. This will be going out on August 13th, so almost 2 months exactly. There'll be a scheduled magnet giveaway along on that night as the Stars take on the Minnesota Wild. Pickleball night. It's all the rave, of course. You get a branded Stars pickleball paddle. I know the Rangers did one of those this summer, October 23rd against the Los Angeles Kings. You got Halloween on October 28th. Oh, yes, this is the one everybody wants to go to. Mikko bobblehead night, November 4th. That's right after my birthday. Unfortunately, I may not be able to make it out to that on a Tuesday. We'll see. I know we have the weekend off with the ice race, so maybe I can stretch out a long weekend for my birthday and maybe stick around for Mikko bobblehead night against the Oilers. So a little bit of a rematch there from the Western Conference Final last 2 seasons. It says guests are limited to 1 per fan. Not a big surprise there. It doesn't say the numbers, so just get there early. Doors open at 5:30 on November 4th for Mikko bobblehead night. Dallas Stars Hall of Fame celebration committer poster giveaway. That's November 15th. You got Ralph Strangis and Joe Nieuwendyk that night, November 15th. November 18th, you got Dale Razor Ray Hockey Hall of Fame celebration. That's November 18th. So November's cooking up some good stuff. Retro nights. Those are going to be rather interesting. I wonder if the Stars are going to break out the new uniforms on those nights too. November 28th, November 30th, and January 23rd is the retro nights. Hockey Fights Cancer, December 5th. That's always a huge night against the Sharks. So that's when Hockey Fights Cancer night is. I'm sorry, just rattling off a lot of these, but wanted to make sure all of you get those. Texas Rangers night, co-branded baseball jersey. Those are always fun. January 20th against the Bruins. So that would be in 2026. There's some other good stuff. Country Western night, video game night on March 6th. That's awesome. The Country Western night's February 25th. There's going to be a special giveaway. It doesn't look like they say what it is yet, so that will be exciting. Noche Mexicana night, a replica football jersey. That will be awesome. So I got Mexican Heritage Night on March 10th. That's a bit later on in the season. Will be a lot of fun as well. I got an alumni game, fan appreciation night, of course, towards the end of the season as well. But wanted to highlight some of those because those are always fun, especially Mikko bobblehead nights. I imagine that's going to be really, really popular and cool that Mikko's played 24 games if you don't include the playoffs. He's already getting a bobblehead, but he deserves it. Single-handedly got the Stars to the second round this past season. So that will be awesome. Would have loved for them to do that against the Avs. That would have been quite the dig to make it work and play them against the Avs. Or have the bobblehead against the Avs on that. But some fun night scheduled for the promotional events throughout the season. So there you go. I wanted to highlight some of those for you on today's show. And that's really all I have today on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Stars. A lot of good stuff here. Again, please let me know your ideal lineup. Would love to hear your take on what the Stars should do. It's going to be fun and fascinating for a lot of ways, and it's different just from a couple of years that I've been doing this podcast, just because DeBoer's gone now, so we're going through this transition, and I just think it's going to be refreshing in some ways, and maybe not on the ice. Look, this could just blow up in their face. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Stars I think they got too good of a roster for it to be a Nashville situation from last season. Let's just put it that way. But there's just a fresh perspective, and almost it's the excitement of not really knowing what this coaching staff is kind of throw out there. You got Neil Graham too on the bench. It's just a little of excitement there. Whereas the last couple of years, we felt like we knew what was going on. We understood the deal. Like last season, I mean, from day one, we were talking about, okay, let's just get through the regular season. And there's an element to that for this upcoming year. But it was just like, let's just get through the year, and the playoffs are the real test. And then that's where it kind of got exciting. And of course, a trade deadline. There's fun things throughout the season, but we didn't have as many question marks about Dallas in some ways. We knew the roster, we understood what we were going to get, and it was like, okay, like let's just, once I get through the regular season, 82, it's boom. Now here we go. This is where we're going to find out what the team is made of, sort of thing, and then we're done. I think there's a bit new freshness to this year, which I think is going to be exciting. And we're going to have a bit more to talk about just throughout the season with Glenn, and whether it's working, maybe it's not. And that can lead us to some interesting takeaways from the first month of the season, and just discussions throughout the year. So looking forward to that. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Stars. I'm starting to get the background all kind of figured out. I picked up this piece, this little ice ray, which looks pretty cool. Somebody painted, have no idea who it is. Would love to give credit, but it's pretty cool. So through that up, we're going to get the background going as I get settled in here in Corpus Christi for the next season. So, and our season starts next month. So are starting to kind of hit the ground, get the feet wet, which is fun to be back. Fun to be back, that's for sure. Anyway, Stars fans, enough rambling for me. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Friday to kick you off into your weekend. So long, Stars fans.